Okay, guys and gals, well, as you can tell from the opening of this video, viewer discretion is advised, and welcome to another DBD video. And in this one, I am playing as a character that I never play as, one of the OG characters in this game, the Wraith. And as you can tell by the title of this video, it is fairly toxic. Now, I don't have any audio commentary during the match, so I apologize because once again, I never play as this character and whatnot, so I didn't expect the matches to go very well. But they went way better than I expected. So if you're wondering what the toxicity is in this video, let me go ahead and show you the build that I was running, and you'll get an idea of what the plan is. So here we are. This is the build that I was running. It works great for pretty much any stealth killer, but I feel like especially with Wraith. So all seeing, I see when I'm cloaked, I see the auras of all survivors within 8 meters. But then also bone clappers, so then they can't tell, basically where the bell is coming from, so it's more of a surprise. You could use the silent bell add-on, but I didn't have a lot of it, so I just used this. This one's just as good in my opinion, because they don't know exactly where you're coming from. I tried to get maps that are good for being really sneaky. The first match didn't work out, but the second match it did. But you'll see how these matches go. Now, yeah, if you can't see what the trend is with this build here, Corrupt is the slowdown. And third seal, that's so I go around and hit everybody once so everybody is blind. So I'm not focused on downing people right away. I'm just focused on hitting everybody once and then they're all blind. And as long as that's up, then they're all going to be blind. But if by some chance they get it, that's what knockout's supposed to help with. So then it's also slower for them to recover and crawl away and things like that. But then also fearmonger, because since we're stealthy, when we get it to somebody on a gen, for example, if they have sprint burst, it's highly unlikely they're going to be able to sprint away. So I will fully admit that this is a very toxic build, especially when it pays off. So I will tell you that this build, you can counter it just like you can with any build. And I think the main ways to counter it is obviously the first thing is if you're part of a Swift, because then even if everyone's blind, you'll have communications still. 2, to get rid of the third seal, so then you can still see your teammates every now and then. But then 3, this build honestly invites gen rushing, and I know I'm running Corrupt, but even with that, the whole idea of going around and just hitting people once, that still gives them the chance to probably pop 2 gens before I really get going, because it's kind of a slowly build up or whatever when it comes to this build, but when it gets to its full potential, it is very deadly. So, of course, once again, no audio commentary during the matches. I apologize for that, but I'll have, a post commentary at the end after both matches. So, of course, I hope you enjoy the video, and I will see you in a little bit. All right, guys and gals. Well, so that was my toxic / evil Wraith build. I do apologize because it was very toxic, especially in the second match. So as you can tell in that first match, the original plan was to go to the treatment theater, but we went to Garden of Joy, which is typically a survivor-friendly map. And as you could tell, I had a slower build-up. You know, they were popping gens. I was like, oh man, this isn't going to go well. But eventually it worked out. So as you can see with this build, as long as everything stays up, like Third Seal, for example, people can bleed out on the ground, and they have no idea where they are unless they have comms, because the one TTV, they just bled out on the ground. Nobody knew where they were, and so they just bled out. And like, I'm so sorry for that. And obviously in the second match, just everybody DC'd, and I can't blame them because it is a very toxic build. Because as long as that Third Seal stays up and everybody's blind the whole time, if they're not in a Swift, they are going to have a hard time, you know, winning the match, because they're going to have no idea where anybody is. And even if you hook them, they're not necessarily going to know where they are. But especially if you slug like I did, it's like, yeah, they're going to have no idea where they are. So yeah, it is what it is. I'm surprised I didn't get any hate messages, but yeah, forgive me for this toxic and evil build. But yeah, I don't really play as the Wraith too much, but since I did, I figured I'd run my most evil build. This is my most evil build that I can think of for me, because as long as everything's to a full potential, it is very hard to beat, because you're just going to be blind the whole match, and then I can be sneaky with the Wraith and whatnot. So of course, I hope you enjoyed the video, and of course, as always, I'd love to see you all next time.